Hey Rock Company, today I have a major theory that will be explaining a lot of the storyline and future of Call of Duty Zombies. This video will examine all in-game evidence, primarily radios and quotes, and make conclusions based off the information provided. The major question to start with is, what is the goal of our announcers? We have 4 announcers ever in Zombies. The first being Sam, the second being Richtofen, the third being Brutus, and the fourth being Maxis. You may ask, what about the Shadow Man? He is not an announcer in Zombies. He may be a being of a higher dimension, but Sam is still controlling the zombies in Shadows of Evil. You can hear Sam's quotes and laugh through the Easter eggs and power-up drops in-game.
Quest. Double points!
Wait! What are you doing? You are but mortals! Ah!
But take notice of the teddy bear in the box. It has the Cthulhu skull over the bear head. The Shadow Man and the Overlords are leeching onto her powers to try and take control of this universe. Only through the Shadows of Evil Easter egg do you give the Shadow Man and the Overlords power.
Your service to the Overlords is appreciated. Our complete assimilation of this dimension will now proceed.
The only creatures they control are the Margwas, Meatballs, and Parasites. After being tricked by the Shadow Man, our crew does the unthinkable and reverses the apocalypse by sacrificing the Shadow Man and working with the Keepers. If you look at the 2 in-game achievements, the names describe to us what is happening: Apocalypse Ascent and Apocalypse Averted.
I'm so sorry. I really don't have time to explain. I have a universe to set right. Thank you, and goodbye.
The Overlords seem to be the representation of the darkness mentioned in Takio's quote and in everyone's according to the Maxis radio.
But I am troubled. My dreams are haunted by a man in shadow. I fear this vision may be a portent of our destruction. I live long enough to confirm that my plan was indeed successful. And the dark presence that has haunted our dreams and infected every facet of our existence has finally been vanquished.
Now that the goals of the Shadow Man and the Overlords are laid out, let's work backwards because the motivations are easier to understand that way. By the end of Buried, we have Maxis in control in one instance of our many universes. In this universe, he is able to control the Aether and advances, he hopes, to Argatha by sacrificing the world.
The process has begun. Now I control the Ether's energy. I can at last reach Agatha. Once the gateway is open, I will finally be reunited with my dearest Samantha.
Hello? Are you forgetting something? Even if your wretched daughter is still alive, she has my body!
If you are so eager to re-enter the physical world, Richtofen, I will grant you that wish!
This logic really doesn't make any sense, but we are working with a 115 crazed Maxis who is blinded by his only goal to see Samantha again. Richtofen even reminds him that Sam has his body, which he casually dismisses, thinking his new power can change that. Clearly, by sacrificing the Earth, it won't save Sam. Sam either died on Moon or sacrificed when Maxis dams the Earth. There isn't room for a middle ground in that universe. Even if she escapes Moon, in that universe, Maxis destroys the Earth. No more Samantha, and 115 isn't going to bring her back. Only a different version of her in another universe exists now. Next, let's look at Richtofen's goals, which are just as basic as Maxis. But instead of saving Sam, Richtofen wants absolute power.
Every tower has been activated, just as I planned. We can finally begin our endgame. Finally, I am in control. The ether is mine to manipulate as I wish. The moon is now my own personal plaything.
When Richtofen takes control of the Aether, he finds unlimited power until he traps himself in Samuel's body, for eternity. He is doomed to repeat the cycles of fighting endless hordes of zombies.
Take a deep breath, Samuel. We're about to get a whole lot closer. This is awful. Am I condemned to sleepwalk through the rest of your life, Samuel? Nein! It cannot be like this forever. There has to be a way to break the cycle. What if I'm trapped for all eternity? Do you have any idea how long that is?
It is clear there are time paradoxes in zombies, and there are certain cycles that will continue to happen. Maxis and Origins even tells the players that even death is no escape.
Death will not find you. The paradox must be resolved. The loop must be closed.
This is the end of the beginning of the end. You cannot prevent what is coming, Edward. The loop must be closed.
We are stuck coming back to life to complete Easter eggs. That is our character's purpose in the game. That's why, since Transit, all the maps have our characters being revived in an infinite loop.
Accept your fate! Begin anew!
We're going down! We're going down fighting! Now!
Have we been here before?
We can't yet prove that Knockdown Totem Through Moon had endless loops because of in-game quotes, and Sam was in control, and her goals were much different during the first universe. All Maxis and Richtofen wanted was control of all the spires to take control of the Aether in Black Ops 2. Once that was accomplished, both characters found their plan was doomed to fail. Neither plan works out, which brings us to our next announcer, Sam. We are going to talk about Knock Through Moon Sam first. This Sam was tested on by Richtofen just like our other characters and took on a basic personality just like the original Fab 4. We hear this in the Call of the Dead radios.
Another day, another fair. This time, subject N3WB just slightly at the floor. The Russian subject still smells like urine, even after he was given a bath and deloused twice. And I think I might have killed the specimen from Mexico. His spleen is on the floor and he's not moving anymore. I can verify with certainty, however, that the barrier is not located in the spleen. Dr. Continue no matter the cost. I wonder what he might think of the experiment, the little girl.
When she falls into the MPD, she only has one goal, which is to seek revenge on everyone. Maxis' dying request is to kill everyone, as we hear in the Moon radio.
I love you too, Daddy.
Can you do something for me? Something very important.
Yes.
Kill them all. We are doomed.
Sam seeks revenge on all members of 935 and anywhere its technology leaks to. That's why 5, Ascension, and Call of the Dead are attacked as well. Sam is insane for a child in this universe. She causes massive damage to the space-time continuum through her irrational actions. When we hear her quotes on Moon, after she switches spies with Edward Richtofen, she is absolutely crazy. Seriously, listen to this child giggling at killing countless zombies.
I made you die! Look! I made it rain!
It's not normal for any of these characters to be as crazy as they are, but Sam's irrationality sets up the communication between Maxis and Richtofen through the rifts in time she created according to the radio and the Giant.
Remember what I told you, Edvard? The scars left by Samantha's past actions allow us to communicate across the rift. Follow my words. I will find you. When you release the beacon, I will secure your extraction and destroy the site. Remember, the burden is yours to carry, Edvard. The others must never know the truth.
Now in the Giant, we have another version of Maxis who is in control, but he is much different from the buried version we last experienced. This is a completely different Maxis from another universe who is now looking for Richtofen to save the children and stop the entire first universe from happening. Erasing the events of the first 10 maps is the one and only goal of the new Maxis in control and Origins Richtofen.
I thank you for your sacrifice, Edvard. courageous actions have opened new avenues of opportunity. It is my dearest hope that we may one day set things right and prevent these terrible events from ever unfolding. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I have one message that must be remembered at all costs. The child must be protected.
There is one problem, though. They can't do it. In Origins, Samantha even tells Richtofen this information. She taunts him, telling him he can't fix things. Yet, she tells Dempsey he's the only one that can. We hear this again from Richtofen and the Giant. Dempsey is the only one that can save them from Richtofen.
You cannot prevent what is coming, Edward. The loop must be closed. Dark days are coming, Dempsey. The Doctor's works threaten the future of the whole world. Only you have the power to prevent this.
Dempsey. I must confide in Dempsey. He alone may offer us salvation.
It seems that the Origins Richtofen has traveled enough to start becoming the evil Richtofen. We hear how a little piece of Richtofen dies every time he kills himself.
What have I done? Stop it, Edward. Breathe. It's okay. It's okay. This is important. This is what you have to do. Even if another part of you dies, each and every time.
Which is the good part of him dying. Nikolai, from another Giant Radio, comments how he has killed Richtofen 3 times.
It is not all bad news, Nikolai. We may have failed in our mission, but at least there is now one less Richtofen to deal with. If it is any consolation, tell him that the first one is the hardest. I should know. I've killed at least 3 Richtofens. There was the one in the fire, the one with the boat hook, and the one... What? No one told me? Sorry. Forget what I just said. Everything will be fine.
But notice in these radios, our Origin characters have been traveling around the world hunting down Richtofens, trying to stop the first universe. But in the Giant, they have no recollection of these events. All they can do is send radios through time and try and help themselves. 115 continues to eat away at their minds and reality.
Curse these 115-induced delusions!
When we examine the note assembled in Shadows of Evil, we see that Richtofen concludes we have been following the wrong leads. All 4 characters plus Maxis search in the wrong locations for the key to changing the future. We know 115 is holding space and time together, but it is failing because of all the damage Sam did in the first universe. Finally, Edward figures out the answer, but he can't tell the others. This conclusion came at the cost of a promise to Maxis.
In these dark days, I find myself clinging to the belief that there may still be a way to set things right. Though my understanding of the ethereal realm remains limited, I am convinced that the manipulation of the energy fields within all matter is vital to uncovering the dimensional gateway itself. It is my sincerest hope that somewhere in the realm beyond, my beloved Samantha still lives. I can only pray that Edward will have the courage to fulfill the vow he made all those years ago.
This promise seems to be one of 2 possibilities. The most obvious is he has to kill himself along with the Origins crew to resolve the cycle paradox. We hear in Origins about the paradox many times. By killing themselves the right way, it will be just like when the Weasel survives and breaks the cycle at Alcatraz. This is a key storyline hint because it would seem that our characters might have to gun down each other in the next Easter egg at Griffin Castle. Now, we still have Origins Sam and the Mob of the Denouncer to talk about. Samantha in Origins is extremely special and critical to the storyline now. The timelines are getting incredibly confusing, even to the best of us in the community. The Giant Radios can seem like 3 to 4 different Maxises at one point in time. It really can be a pain to pinpoint their orders in universes. But Sam in Origins makes it extremely clear that she is trapped in Argatha. Now hold on a minute. Hold on here. Wasn't the whole plan for the original storyline was for either Maxis or Richtofen to get to Argatha and fix everything? Or like get Grant control? But here, Sam is supposedly trapped. And she is.
I'm to be freed from Agartha. Your reward awaits you, my heroes. You only have to step into the light. You're doing this. You're actually going to get me out of here.
We must free Samantha from her prison. The girl is the key.
I don't know how much longer I can stay here. I'm not safe. Please, I beg you, free me from Agartha.
She is stuck in the horrid cycle that is zombies. When our characters die, she is still forced to be the announcer. We hear her comment to Nikolai that they have been at this for so long, and yet none of them can remember.
You don't even remember how long this has been going on. How long we have been trapped here. Only I can save you.
This begins playing with the idea of what death or life after death is. In one of the Maxis radios, in Origins, there's even a neat reference to the song that actually got the gateway to open to the crazy place, which is called Les Sources Noires.
Brought a gramophone to the chamber, along with a recording by a group of performers known as La Source Noire. To our astonishment, as we listened to the first few bars of music, the seal itself began to open. When 115 is channeled towards the ancient stones, an energy field appears to drag unknown objects into our reality.
A French novel exploring the ideas of life after death. It stays in our theme here of the ethereal world. One of the Maxises in the Giant finally starts to grasp the magnitude of all these worlds.
Is it possible that element 115 is disrupting the space-time continuum itself? How else could an ancient box, created eons ago, bring forth weapons from different eras, perhaps including even our own future? Further study is needed to understand these powerful and unpredictable forces.
In these dark days, I find myself clinging to the belief that there may still be a way to set things right. Though my understanding of the ethereal realm remains limited, I am convinced that the manipulation of the energy fields within all matter is vital to uncovering the dimensional gateway itself. It is my sincerest hope that somewhere in the realm beyond, my beloved Samantha still lives. I can only pray that Edvard will have the courage to fulfill the vow he made all those years ago.
Now, Sam claims to have power to shape the world and tries to bribe our characters in Origins to help her escape Agartha.
All that has been scattered across time and space will return to its rightful place. I have the power to shape the world as I wish. I will share that power, Takio. All you have to do is find me.
She promises them riches beyond compare. This brings up a possible second promise Edward made, or the alternative promise. When Origins ends, we hear Sam promise to protect her heroes forever.
From that day forward, they knew that Samantha would keep them safe forever.
Her and Eddie are in control of their toys in this war-stricken world in which zombies doesn't exist. It is possible that Eddie is a version of Richtofen sent to a different universe. I know, this one's rough, but hear this out. I was completely against the idea of Eddie being Richtofen for a while. But according to the Giant Radio, in one universe, Maxis gets Sam back after sending both children away. Sam is not the same and calls his name, in which we can only assume is Eddie, in this radio. Not Edward Richtofen, but her childhood friend, Eddie.
She may have been returned to me, but I fear she is not as she was. In recent months, she has barely said a word. When she did, it was only to cry out for him, to call his name. What have I done?
The plan that Maxis may have had at the end of Origins could have involved Eddie crossing universes to keep them safe. Maxis makes Eddie promise to keep Samantha safe, which explains the floating house in the middle of nowhere as their hideout, possibly in the Aether. That is why Edward Richtofen is able to understand that the kids must be kept safe and where they are in the house. We hear in Nikolai's Memories video about the better future for the children.
I can no longer deny the possibility of an unseen power, a guiding hand, helping us to fulfill our destiny. My path is chosen, our fate is sealed. But the innocent, the children, those untainted by darkness and chaos, they can find a better tomorrow.
Why all this talk about keeping the children safe? What the hell does it matter? Well, because they created our game. Both Eddie and Sam create zombies. It is a game that they play, and if either of them has their universe destroyed, everything is doomed to fail. The two children are key to saving everything. They are the key in resolving the time paradoxes. We see the characters being displayed as toys in Kino der Toten, and we hear Sam and Moon making a comment about it all being a dream, what happens when she wakes up. It is all a game even when Richtofen is in control, and he comments about it being a game, but a game to the person in Argatha.
When I wake up, will this all have been a dream? Takeo, you play the game really good. No matter how many you kill, we cannot win this way.
You know, I never liked how that little brat never told us how anything worked. So the secret to survive is to... And that's how you win!
All of our characters realize this after Origins. The Origins ending isn't an ending or a beginning, it is the middle of yet another timeline. We hear later, after Max sends the kids away, how the universe is doomed by radiation and fallout. He tries to save the children in hopes of saving the corrupted universe.
Day 66. The children are gone, and the house feels empty. I miss their laughter, their games. The sirens have not sounded for several months. I do believe that we may have turned the tide in the battle. But at what cost? The radiation levels from the fallout remain dangerously high. I can only pray I live long enough to confirm that my plan was indeed successful.
It all should start to make more sense now that we see the first universe completely messed up everything. The first universe stumbled upon 115, which is the fabric of the universe. It was so powerful it corrupted all our characters to create a universe that is lashing out, causing holes in the space-time continuum. All other universes now are trying to fix the tears and return normal. During this meltdown, the overlords are seeking to take control of the universe and create the end times. Just scratching the surface of Lovecraftian lore, if Cthulhu wakes, it means the end of all time, which for some dumb reason is all the overlords want. That's a lot to take in, so let's go to our final announcer, Brutus, who is Stanley Ferguson. When we listen to all the quotes, it is clear Stanley is in control of the Alcatraz map. This universe is off. But what is really going on? Well, the Shadow Man explains this in a wonderful quote.
Your world, as it was, is still here, shifted slightly, wrenched from its rightful place. Many of the souls who inhabited it have succumbed to the darkness. They are echoes of themselves, trapped in a fractured shadow of reality.
Doesn't that make it seem a little clearer? Their universe gets wrenched from where it was supposed to be and put into a fractured reality. One that isn't real. By breaking the cycle, it seems the Weasel has a shot at shifting his universe back. In Shadows of Evil, after the Easter egg, it again seems like there's a shot that they can shift the world back with the help of the Keepers. The zombies in these worlds don't belong and aren't real. It is nothing more than an illusion to these realities. It is almost like a simulation that affects the main storyline in some way. Does this sound a little familiar?
Listen only to the sound of my voice. Let your mind relax. Let your thoughts drift. Let the bad memories fade. Let peace be upon you. You are in control. Imagine yourself in a frozen forest.
The simulated world that is created in Call of Duty Black Ops campaign has a real impact in the zombie universe. In the middle of the campaign, we see zombies show up for no reason. They are bleeding over into the afterlife world of Sarah's dying brain. Somehow the zombies infect her dying mind. How? She has no exposure to them, and even in the delusions of a dying soldier, these are perfect replicas to our giant model zombie types. There is traces of the D&I universe everywhere in zombies now. The lobby loading screen has our characters stoking a fire in the frozen forest. A world in between worlds, a world that is but isn't. Even Dead Ops Arcade 1 and 2 are canon to the story according to Treyarch, which makes perfect sense with our multiverse theory. we see versions of the enemies from the DNI world in Dead Ops Arcade 2. It is all connecting in front of us, and soon we will see our conclusion. I can't for sure make a conclusion on the DNI universe and zombies yet, but it is clear that they are related. I need more information from the Dead Ops Arcade world and the vault in Black Ops 3 computer. In the multiplayer map, we even see the floating house that resembles the drawing of where the kids are being hidden. Is this the Ether? Is the frozen forest Ether where Gersh was captured? Richtofen refers to the Ether in the endgame as the Nether, which could be the afterlife.
Won't I already possess the power to leave this netherworld and re-enter the physical realm once more?
We hear Gersh in the Ascension Easter egg asking to help us free him and escape from the Ether. Both Sam and Dempsey will comment about the Gersh device being a gateway to the Ether after throwing the device.
Feed the Ether.
This could be the connection we need to bring the frozen forest into the zombie universe. One last observation about the Ether is in Doris, since the original, we have had writing on the walls telling us return through the Ether, which could be the key to ending everything. Return to the afterlife world to resolve the paradox, or maybe even solve an Easter egg in the ethereal dimension. Who knows? Now, the Easter eggs have been identified as the paradox visualizations. This means when we complete an Easter egg in any of the maps in zombies, we see a paradox being created, something that now ruins the continuity of their worlds. By completing the Easter eggs in the Giant, it shows like a beacon for Maxis, as we hear at the end of the Giant Easter egg.
The beacon is lit. I know where and when you are. Sooner or later, I will find you. Together, we will ensure a better future for the children.
We must secure our extraction from this cursed place.
Hey, other me. If you're hearing this, then it means that something's gone foobar. We're going to plan B. Stick to that crap bastard like glue. We need to find out what the hell he has been doing and what he's going to do. We may be able to get a fix on your location if you can trigger one of the paradox visualizations. Good luck. We're all counting on you. Oh, wait. Whatever you do, don't get too close to the radioactive beacon. It makes your hair fall out.
This may have interesting consequences because Dempsey comments about the beacon causing hair to fall out. In our Ascension poster, we see Richtofen with no hair, but when we play the game, he does have hair. This poster could be a representation of another universe, a universe in which our characters return to complete an Easter egg and light another beacon. Now, what is even more interesting is Max's comments to Richtofen in a radio in the Giant that test subjects can't be released, for they are simple-minded individuals.
The test subjects can never be allowed to awaken. The havoc that could be wreaked upon the future by such simple-minded individuals could be catastrophic. Heed my warning.
We know they are simple-minded from the first universe, as they literally help Richtofen achieve God status and don't question it until he takes Sam's body. But this is the beauty of the paradoxes, because we know in the Giant trailer the Origins characters want to awaken the test subjects. Why? Well, I think it goes back to our cipher we found in Shadows of Evil that tells us Primus will fail even though they know the way. The Origins crew is Primus, and they do know the way. They need the original crew to save the universe because something is going to stop them. My guess is Edward from Origins is going to turn full evil or break his promise, in which Dempsey will have to save everyone by sacrificing their lives. In summary, the first universe caused the rifts in space-time in which Maxis and Richtofen can communicate to try and change history. Maxis needs Richtofen to do the unthinkable, which is most likely to die to resolve the paradoxes created by the rifts and Easter eggs. By dying, they will mend the rifts and trap the first universe by itself so it won't cause damage to the other universes. The children are key to keep safe because they shape the game of zombies in other universes. The Mob of the Dead and Shadows of Evil universe aren't real. They have been shifted by the rift, and only breaking the cycles cause them to go back to normal. The afterlife world seems to be related to the Ether in the frozen forest. We have seen zombies infect all kinds of universes, even our campaigns now. Each of the Easter eggs are points of paradox in which Maxis can help our characters try to fix the timelines. Sadly, our Origins crew is doomed thanks to the Cypher and Shadows of Evil, and only the original crew will be able to save us from the Overlords. It would seem they will be ending zombies, which would be awesome. I can't thank you enough if you stuck with me through that entire ride. This was a very difficult theory to piece together, and I really appreciate it. Any support you could give on this video. Share it with your friends so I at least get a discussion going about the zombie storyline. There's a lot to talk about with all this information. I am sure things in here will get proven wrong as Treyarch reveals more information, more maps, but I did the best I could with the information available to me at the time. Please subscribe for your zombie theories and content. I thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Here are Company Reynolds and Toysman back here, and I have an awesome theory video to talk to you guys about some really cool ideas that might get...
Hey guys, my name is Matt. I'm here again for the Zombros podcast. Haven't done one of these in a while. I apologize. Hope everyone had a great holiday.
I can't thank you enough. So what I will be doing, this is for international...